Good morning and welcome to the Celebrate podcast. I'm Lisa McGarry, co-owner of Celebrate Primary Care.
I'm Della Tootin, the other owner.
And today we are super excited to have Rusty Thompson from Masters Lawn Care with us. But first, I want to thank Elio with Fiesta Media for producing our show. Thank you. You're supposed to do the clapping thing. We are live every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on YouTube and Facebook. And if you like to listen to the podcast, we're on all of the platforms where you listen to podcasts. So we appreciate Elio doing this for us. But today we have Rusty with us. Hi, Rusty.
Hey, how are you?
Welcome. We're happy to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Hey.
So Rusty and I met, years ago at church, right? At Anthem, like 7-8 years ago, maybe.
2012, somewhere around there.
Because that's when we started going. So, and then B&I together, and then you're in Della's Vistage, and so it's kind of like, it's been an awesome time. And you've owned Masters Lawn Care how long?
Since 2004, so 17 years.
Wow. And you started that?
Yeah.
Were you 12?
Yeah.
Something like that. So I was 22.
Wow.
And just saw an opportunity in the market and was blessed to kind of meet that demand.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Rusty, tell us about where you're from, and did you go to UF? What's your history?
Absolutely. Yes, I was born and raised in Melrose, so east side of Alachua County. And my dad was a realtor. And so I grew up in the real estate business, and he had some child labor laws that were probably broken, but basically he had listings, and back then properties weren't selling in 2 or 3 days, right? So they were selling in 2 or 3 months. And so they needed to be cleaned up and kind of put on the market to sell. And so he would have me come in and make the turnaround on those properties and then manage the landscaping until they sold. And so that's kind of how I got my feet wet in the industry and really kind of enjoyed that work, enjoyed getting dirty, working outside, and that's kind of how it all began.
Wow.
So after you graduated, you went on to UF?
No, actually I didn't go to UF. I went to Trinity Baptist College, a small school up in Jacksonville. And I went there for 2 years, and I got my A degree, and then came back and actually left the green industry. So I came back and I went into the retail store management. I was actually the manager of Lids, the hat store in the mall.
Oh, wow.
Right? So I'm 22 years old, and I'm there, and I'd left the green industry. The reason why is because it didn't seem like there was a lot of upward mobility. Most of the companies that I'd worked for around town after I left working for my dad and the child labor laws there, the companies around town, I could work my way up into being a foreman, but that was about it, because the next guy up on the totem pole was the owner, and I probably wasn't kicking him out. So I left the green industry and went into retail store management, and then I started working at Lids in the mall, worked my way up there, and the guy that hired me was my manager. His name was Rick, and he was applying at 32 years old. So I was 22. He was 32, 10 years older than me. And he was applying for district manager. And hindsight, I don't know that this was all the story, but the story that I got was that he was too young to take on that role, because there were store managers he would be managing that were older than him. And so I kind of took that messaging and said, 10 years and I'm stuck in the same job, no. I'm out.
Yeah.
So I didn't leave right then, but that's the day that I kind of started planning the future of the Masters Lawn Care.
Awesome.
That's
So
great.
it started out with just you?
It did.
And how did it grow? And where are you?
Started out on weekends and afternoons, and basically crazy story. So back when the Yellow Pages actually worked, right? So I saved up money, paid down payment on a Yellow Page ad. It was a crappy Yellow Page ad. I didn't know anything about marketing. I bought it in the talking phone book, which was not the Bell South Yellow Pages. It was the one that everybody threw away when they got it. But my first call was from a client that was right on the corner of 55th and 23rd, right there, the red light before you get to Buchholz.
Yep.
And God works in mysterious ways. That was the only call that I know of for a fact that we got from that ad. Yeah.
Wow.
The phone book went out, and he said, I found it, and I was about to throw the phone book away. By the way, you need to market in the Bell South Yellow Pages. But went out and gave him a quote. He had just bought the house. It was kind of a foreclosure. He had painted it, put a new roof on it, put new paver driveway in, put a new fence up, did all this stuff. And all I did was put sod down, put some plants in, put some mulch in, and start maintaining it. But it looked like a complete renovation. I mean, it looked like before and after that should be on everybody's website. And he came to me after I was probably maintaining it for a month or so, and he said, "Hey, why don't you give me 10% off my monthly bill and put a sign right here? Like, you see all these cars? Like, they'd be parked right here and looking at your sign." And I still to this day will have people be like, "Hey, you did that yard right there on the corner."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All those years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we did that on
Awesome.
the weekends, and the principal of Buholtz High School, who I actually went to church with at the time, well, I went to church with the assistant principal, but the principal actually ended up calling us to take over the landscape management at Buholtz High School. And that was a count that pushed us over the edge.
That's exciting.
So although the phone book was not the way to advertise,
still.
it got my sign there, and I got so many phone calls from that. So many phone calls.
That's awesome.
So how did you transition over time from you were doing the work in the beginning,
Yeah.
right? And then as you grew, how did that work? How did that look for you and your industry? And what's that feel like now? Because, people can be challenging, and as you know.
They are. So that was the first major struggle I had, was the trust in someone to do the job when I wasn't physically on the job. Luckily, back then I had a guy that I'd worked with for a long time. His name was Billy, and he was a guy that I knew I could trust to do the job. He actually probably could do the job better than I could, right? Because I would have going back to the truck, answering phone calls, taking notes, like, "Oh, I got to make this appointment." And so he probably was glad to see me get off the truck. But that was the big step, and that was a really hard step, not having my eyes on everything.
Because it's your baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That the organization was doing, but that was the first step.
Yeah.
And then from there, we kind of grew that team into 3 or 4 people, and then we bred a new crew leader, and it was kind of baby steps through that process.
And now you do everything, right?
We
Almost.
do.
Yeah.
We do.
We see you all over the place, and we see your people all over. And, so tell us a little bit about that process of, how you maintain, quality control and all of those how does that get managed?
So on a broader spectrum, before we kind of go narrow and go day to day, it's hiring the right people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it all comes down to. And if you hire the right people and you take care of them well, then they're going to do the right things fairly consistently. Nobody's perfect. We're all
Right,
human.
of course.
But by and large, if you hire the right people to make decisions well, and you give them the tools and the equipment to make those decisions well, then by and large you're going to have that. Now, day to day, what we have is account managers and field supervisors that are in charge of quality control. So those are people that are kind of driving around and checking on those jobs, checking in with the client, making sure the client's happy, and making sure that they're meeting our expectations. And then if
Good.
we're not, sending the crew back to
Fix
resolve it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's good. Well, yeah, I mean, we've done work with you, and you guys have been fantastic. And if something's wrong, you send a message, and it gets taken care of. It's like magic. It's great. So that's important, right? Especially in trades. It feels like, sometimes we deal with somebody in trades, and they don't call you back, or or they, Anyway, we appreciate that you do it the
Yeah.
right way, and that makes a difference, and that's why you've grown.
Yeah, we are really, really heavily focused on the customer experience.
Yeah.
And I think that you guys do a wonderful job with that, because I'm one of your customers, right? But I think that's really what it comes down to, is what does the customer experience? And trades have a big tendency, and I think it's a lacking, kind of a missed opportunity, is that we focus so heavily on what we do and not how we do it. And it's what we do, and also not how the customer experiences what we do,
Yeah.
right? And so if we focus on just the what we do, sure, the grass will be cut right, and that's important, and the shrub will be cut right, and that's important, and the sprinkler head will be adjusted right. But if we didn't communicate with the client well and make sure that they understood why we're doing it, what we're doing, and how we're doing it, then that really makes that process go a lot smoother.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So you're in Gainesville, but you've branched out a little bit outside of
Correct.
Gainesville. What does that look like?
We actually started outside of Gainesville. I started in Hawthorne and was kind of doing the lake area in addition to Gainesville, and then quickly realized that the drive into Gainesville was the market that we were going to grow in the most, and that the drive into Gainesville was killing us. So we bought a shop in Gainesville, and then those accounts in Hawthorne, we found some providers in the lake area to go ahead and service those, and moved into Gainesville, and that provided a lot more opportunity. But there's 2 ways you grow in the service industry, right? You either you obviously grow your number of clients, but you grow your service area, or you grow your number of services that you offer that clientele. So we have done both of those. So we started off in landscape maintenance, and then we added on irrigation, we added on lawn health and landscape installation, and kind of all the different things that go under that, like the hardscaping and different things like that. And then as we added those, we also were adding on areas. So we kind of migrated over to Alachua and started servicing Alachua area and the Jonesville area, and then moved some services in the Newberry, and so grew those areas. Long term, we're kind of looking at other markets. We don't have anything, we don't have a flag planted just yet in a certain area, but we're just keeping our eyes open
For the right opportunity.
Cool. Yeah, so I know that recently you did expand your service and acquired, kind of joined in, you know, brought another group in with you.
Yeah.
And how has that been for you, kind of that acquisition? Because I know we talked about that some.
Absolutely, yeah. So we've made 2 mergers or acquisitions in the past 2 years. One was a small lawn health company, and it was kind of an owner-operator deal, and he was wanting to retire and having some health issues. And so we took over that 2 years ago, and I think it was like 50-something clients, and pretty much all of them have stayed. I think one sold their house, but other than that, they all stayed with us. It was a really cool transition too, because we're the Masters Lawn Care, and their name was Master Green.
Oh,
So it was
that's
like
cool.
a very, very smooth transition.
Oh, good,
that
yeah.
worked out real well. And then the second transition was another gentleman that owned an irrigation company here in town, was well known for many years, Gillespie's Irrigation.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And when Dave was kind of looking, hey, you know what, I'm thinking about kind of, you know, sunsetting my career in the industry. It's a lot of work out here in the field. And so we just provided an opportunity to merge with him. We took on 3 of his team members, and they're fantastic. And Dave actually has joined the team in a part-time role of more of a manager and kind of outside of the field and training and equipping our guys well. It's worked out real well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is nice, and that's a nice transition, you know, for his customers that were with him to then get to know you and know that he is still invested.
Still there, right, yeah.
Exactly.
I think that is always the tricky part about any transition like that.
Yep. And he provided a lot of personal service. I mean, literally, when we took his phone and forwarded it to our phone, right, there were a lot of clients like asking, "Oh, can I speak with Dave?" And it's like, well, he's only going to be here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we can, you know,
We can
get
help
something
you.
set
Yeah.
up for you.
We can help you
Yeah,
when he's not here.
exactly.
We know how to
Exactly.
do these things too.
Exactly. And a couple of them wanted to meet with him because that's their buddy. And
Yeah.
so we've
No, that's good.
made that happen. But it's been a really, really good transition, a really good investment. It works out. I believe in win-win-win opportunities, right? And it was a win for him, it was a win for us, and it was a win for his employees. So it really, really became a great opportunity.
How many people are on your team now?
So we got about 78 currently.
Okay.
That's a
And
lot.
that kind of fluctuates in season depending on what we're doing this week and all that kind of stuff. I actually asked before we came, and I thought we were probably at 70. And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, we were in payroll for 78 people last week.
You know that
Oh.
number's coming, so we always think about it. You know,
Exactly.
it's like how many. You know, we always have to announce it every month. So,
Exactly.
tell us about how we can help you. Like, what could we do to be supportive of your business? What would be a good way to connect to you? All of those things.
I think having me on this show was amazing, and that's obviously a huge opportunity for us to get our word out. And I think outside of that, it's just the companies that you guys serve. So you serve companies that care about their team members and want to provide a really excellent service for them, and that's kind of what we specialize in. So I think your clients are really our target clients, right?
Yeah.
That have their properties, or
It's true.
whether it's their home or whether it's their business. Doesn't
Yeah, because
really
you do
matter.
commercial as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, well, good. We're happy you're on. We appreciate
Yeah.
that. So now, can we talk about fun stuff like what you do for fun?
Please, absolutely,
You know, you have a son who's like a giant and super
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us everything.
So, you know, I'm the husband of Cassie.
Yes.
Actually, at church Sunday, I was on stage and talking about community groups and different
Oh,
things.
you were?
And I accidentally said I'm the wife of Cassie. That was, that worked out really well.
Everybody laugh.
Exactly.
That
They did
happened to
laugh.
me when we got married. The minister asked Travis, "You take Della to be your husband," and like everybody roared, but it broke the ice and it just made it a lot more
Exactly.
chill. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm the husband of Cassie and the father of Griffin. He's a 4-year-old and he's really
adorable.
tall. He looks like he's 7.
Yeah, he does. He's
but-
so cute.
But he's a mess.
I saw the picture of him flying with you.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was adorable.
That is adorable.
He loves flying. He
Cool.
loves flying. And actually just not this past flight, but the flight before that was his first time sitting in the co-pilot seat because I was always kind of nervous of him flipping the wrong switch or something.
Yeah.
So he sat back there with Mom in the back and kind of watched me do the thing up front. But we brought him up, and he's really, really enjoyed it. And I set up a little tablet that has an app for him,
Yeah.
so he can hit buttons on that, and it's not going to mess with anything on the plane.
That's the airplane.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like scary.
Yeah, I shared a video of it on Facebook, my story, and one of my employees wrote me in and he was like, "Hey, you're going to end up in the Bermuda Triangle if you're following his directions because he's over there."
So
Yeah.
adorable.
It was a lot of fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
How often are you getting up?
So not much this time of year.
Yeah.
We just took a flight, but it's usually for like alternative circumstances. Like, I told you about the puppy. So we're getting an English Bulldog puppy, and we flew up to South Carolina to go see it. And so that was an opportunity to fly. And then recently I flew down for an event in the Keys, and so flew down
That's
there.
nice.
But by and large, I really like to fly about once every 2 or 3 weeks. But I realized that and flown in 4 months.
Wow.
This flight. So
Holy
it
cow.
had been a while, just middle of season.
And you feel it when you get up, right?
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, haven't
Yeah.
done this for a
It's
while.
been a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God for autopilot. It gets me like,
So you're breaking it.
What are you
adapted.
flying?
Exactly.
What are you flying when you go?
yeah, it's a Cessna 182. It's
Okay.
just a 4-seater high wing aircraft. It's and actually my dad was a pilot. I never got
cool.
to fly with him. My dad was a pilot, and so that was what started the dream.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Wanting to fly.
Very cool.
So there's that, and flying also leads to my other passion, which is Gator football. And so going to away Gator games is a lot of fun. And we'll fly to LSU this year, and we'll probably fly up to South Carolina this year for that game, and
Nice.
Fun.
really get to enjoy those.
So the
Yeah.
two of you and then usually another couple, right?
Right.
Gets to go. That's
Typically,
nice.
yeah. It really depends on the trip, but generally it's 2 couples. And
Do you want to fly something bigger eventually?
I think my wife wants me to fly something bigger because we kind of have a friend group that's beyond 4 people, right?
Yeah. So everybody can go.
But I don't know that I want that weight and that responsibility.
Responsibility, yep,
Right? So
yep.
we shall see.
Yeah.
It's kind of on
Well,
the list, right?
Maybe you can go down the RV road one day. Those
Just
are
get
fun
the
too.
big bus.
Yeah.
Throw
And then
everybody
pack
on the
all the
bus and-
people in.
There you go.
Yeah.
And tailgate
There you
the
go.
whole way.
There you go. That's much more fun.
Yeah. Although somebody still has to pilot that, right?
Sure.
Right. So
Sure. But
there's that.
there's a larger group that can pilot a RV versus an airplane.
Oh yeah,
It's
for
true.
sure.
We can trade off.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, like
I know that's
we got
how
2
Travis
DVs.
feels on the boat. He's like, you want to go on the boat all the time, but I have to be the one always on. And I was like, it's true. So we're training Eli, and
you
Eli's
go.
15, and he's doing really well. So
That's
he's
awesome.
trailering and driving, and so we're
Yeah.
you
Where
can do
us-
that too.
Where do you guys usually take the boat to?
We typically go out in the Gulf.
Okay.
So we have a Sportsman. It's a bay boat, but Travis is a fisheries biologist, so we head out usually out of Yankeetown or Cedar Key.
Yeah.
We've gone out to Crystal River a couple times, Horseshoe, Steenhatchee. That's
Okay.
where we've gone. But we've pulled it down and gone out further south. And I'm like, I want to go over to the East Coast and run to the Bahamas, but we don't have time right now for that,
But
And-
they've come to Flagler, and
Yeah.
we've done that
Yeah,
run. That was fun.
And Matanzas and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So super fun.
That's great.
It's a good time.
That's great.
It's nice. It's nice to have a friend with a boat.
Yeah.
Everybody should have one.
Yeah. Boats and planes.
Boats and planes.
Well, what else should we know about you, your family, your church, your community, what's important to you? I know
Yeah.
you're involved with a lot of organizations. You give back a lot in the community. That's important to us as well.
Sure. Yeah, there's so much opportunity to talk about there. So I'm a member of Anthem Church with Lisa.
Yeah.
And it's a great organization that has really funded me a lot of opportunities that I probably don't talk about enough and don't say thank you enough for. But that's really kind of how my life started to turn around and really blessed my business, not with like clients, but kind of like a vision and kind of a mission to see where we're going. And then that affected, the church affected also my family life and having my wife Cassie and my son. But so we lead a youth group at Inside Out. So it's called I just said Inside Out at Anthem Church, and so we lead the 11th graders. My wife leads the females, and I lead the males, and that's a awesome opportunity to just kind of see youth and see how they're making decisions and invest in them, and it's so cool. I know Paige was involved for years.
Oh, yeah.
And she was actually there Sunday.
Yeah, she was. She's like, I'm helping out with Inside Out. So, yeah, she loves it. Yeah. She was like, it was fun. We did an 80s party or something. I don't know what they did, but 90s party.
90s.
I'm like, a 90s party. I'm like, oh.
And we did laser tag in the auditorium.
You did?
It was awesome.
Oh, how fun.
It was great. Yeah.
Well,
So-
and keeping the kids engaged. I mean,
That's
Anthem
right.
has always done that. And Paige went through, I mean, I think I know Naomi was 2. So she was like, 3rd grade or something when we started going there.
Yeah.
So she went all the way through.
Oh,
and
she went Wamba Land up the street.
all of it. Yeah. So, and finally now Naomi is in transit and so excited. She loves it. So, she was really getting tired of Upstreet.
Yeah.
The 4th and 5th graders just get tired,
They do.
because
They do.
it's such a span of age, like the kindergartners, and especially if you've been through Wamba Land and now you've all the way through, it's like they struggle. So she was happy she got to 6th grade and got to go to transit.
Yeah. It's always the end, right? It's like the beginning they feel a little young, and the end they feel a little old. And it's like this is getting old. But Anthem does a great job with that. And I'm also involved with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So that's a great organization that invests in college and student athletes and connecting them with a mission and vision that bigger than themselves and bigger than just the sports team they're in. And we just had a big event at Anthem 3 Thursdays ago.
Okay.
That was the kind of kickoff for football season, and a bunch of
neat.
football teams there from around the county.
Oh,
and stuff. It was
good.
great. It was a really good organization.
People connected and grounded. I mean, that's the thing, right? It's
Exactly.
like hard to do that. So
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah. So those are kind of the big things for me, is like family, faith. Business is a big part of that. Taking care of our team, taking care of our clients. I mean, that's really what we're all about.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yay.
So we talk about a health tip usually, and I know that you are health conscious. So what advice would you give people with this busyness of this life to stay on top of their health?
So the biggest ones we talk about at work or if you're outside. And
Yeah.
we talk about heat exhaustion. So this time of year, it is so common that to need energy. So you're drinking energy drinks, you're drinking coffee, which, hey, I'm a coffee fiend, but love my Starbucks. But having coffee or caffeine and then going out and working
No
outside
water.
and not enough water.
So
Right.
dehydration.
It's
Yes.
so important. I mean, we literally beat that like a drum. in North
Yeah.
Bass
Well, you
Hudson
have to
it's
because
just-
they'll fall out. It's so hot out there.
And people do get really sick, and they don't actually realize that can happen so quickly.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think that's a wonderful health tip for this week is stay hydrated.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. And if you're sweating a lot, you might need some Gatorade for the sodium.
That's right. That's
'Cause
right.
too much water when you're sweating and losing all your electrolytes is not wise either.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, we do Gatorade packets for the guys and try
Yeah.
and keep them. Yeah.
I'm
hydrated.
going. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And then if they party the night before and then they energy drink in the morning,
There's all those ulterior.
It's
Yeah.
like bad. Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you for being here today. We definitely want to connect people to your business and
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah, Elio,
and-
you're going to put up his website.
Yeah.
Thank you, friend. Appreciate you.
There he is.
Yay.
So people
Yep.
can contact you. You have great service. You have great employees.
Yep.
We appreciate you. You've done
And another
great
thing
things.
that's super cool is that iPad with like you take a picture and then you put things on it. So it's like you can see what your lawn's going to look like with the new things. I was like, oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a cool tool.
The service you guys offer to our community is just unbeatable. We just
you.
love you guys and
Thank
love
you.
the investment you make in our community every day and the health and everything. So thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, appreciate that. Well, thanks for being on with us.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. And you guys, thanks for watching and listening. We will see you next week at 11 a.m. on Tuesday, live on Facebook and YouTube. We always want to thank Elio for his great work in producing this for us. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks again, Rusty.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.